Alright, we're going to take a look at the rest of the windshield here. Kind of a part 2 video. Work planes is what we talked about a little bit yesterday, and let's get an idea of how to use that efficiently. I'm going to flip to the bottom side of my shelled out windshield. Zoom in a little bit. Here's my work plane tool. I'm going to choose work plane offset from plane. So now what I can do is I can click, and it's got to be on the actual flat bottom surface here. And then I get an arrow showing me which way it's going to offset this plane. I need to check my measurement here. It looks like the bottom of this cutout is 0.67 below. .67, check mark. So now what I've got is this floating work plane below the surface. The work plane allows us to place a sketch that kind of floats in air that we can use to affect other parts of our model. So now this is in the right place. There are a bunch of ways you saw to make work planes: tangent to surfaces, parallel to surfaces, parallel to points, but right now we just chose the offset method. So I can go ahead and place a sketch onto that plane. So now my sketch is again floating out there and I'm able to draw. Let's look at the bottom view, and I think that the tutorial has it facing the other way, so I might rotate this around so it matches theirs. Oh, maybe not. Sorry, it was the right way. So that's how I want it to look here in this view. And then I'm going to flip it to the bottom. Alright. First thing I want to do is project the geometry onto this sketch of the existing edges. And do make sure that you don't get random surface in there. Just want the inner and outer edge of the windshield. Alright, there it is. Let's take a look at what we're actually making here. We have a rectangular shape, and we've got some dimensions of how big it is and where it exists. It's a unique shape. It's got some points sticking out of it right here. There's 2, 4, 6 of them, and we have to dimension those correctly. So let's take a look first at making the correct rectangular shape in there and getting it in the right location. So we've got a rectangle that's approximately 2.26 from the bottom with a 0.29 gap. So let's throw that in there. Rectangle tool. Alright. And let's go ahead and use our offset tool right here and offset that out a little bit bigger. Alright. The thickness of this edge here is 0.05, it looks like, all the way around. So let's make that our difference between the two. Dimension here and here to 0.05. That definitely affected some of my geometry, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Dimensioning the bottom off of there, I think that was 0.29. Yep, and from the overall distance it was 2.26. Let's get a look at the width of it. From this side it's 0.68. And then 2.22. close. Alright. So that gives me the rough shape that I was needed to make sure I had correct. And let's see here. We've got to add some fillets in. We have 4 fillets around the outside that are all 0.15 fillets. Let's take a look at doing that now. Still looks to me like this is in the wrong place. Let's check one more dimension here. Yep, this one's wrong. Redimension that from the bottom. Let's see the other one, same way. Yep, I dimensioned off the wrong line. Again, dimension off the bottom. Let's look a little bit better. Yep, looks like I made the same mistake over here. .68, and from here to there. Looks a little bit better. Let's check it out again. Yep, I pulled those dimensions from the wrong line, so now they are correct. Okay, radius of 0.15. There's our radius 2. Fillet. 0.15. There, 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 there. Looking good. Now we've got to add in these guys right here. They are 0.09 off the bottom and have a width of 0.05. Let's get them located on there. Alright, so here at 1.28, one line right there, let's see. To the center, 1.28. Alright. Let's see if we can trim this out right there. That's good. Dimension. Alright. And that line to the bottom line. And that should be 1.28 minus 0.025. Alright. If we looked at that, that came from this number right here being half the distance for the dimension to the center. And the thickness of this is 0.05 and the depth is 0.09. Let's zoom in a little bit. Dimension 0.05 and then the distance from here to there, you said it's 0.09. Alright. So, I located that by dimensioning off the bottom, by subtracting half the thickness. Now we need to have 6 of these all the way around. And right now, I've just got 1 of them. But to cut the video short, I'm just going to leave that 1 and kind of show you the next steps. So, this sketch is good. It's in place. I'm going to finish it. Next thing I want to do is extrude, but I want to get just the space in between there. Zoom back out. Let's see which way it's going. Right now it's going the wrong way. We're going to change direction so it goes up towards our object, and we're going to do a distance to next so it touches the inside. You can see that curvature right there. Hit OK, and you've got your piece. And that little notch is right there. You're going to have 6 of them all the way around. Alright, good luck.